Daniel pursued his master's degree at the University of Phoenix. While at the University of Phoenix, he did achieve a master's in arts and education with English as a second language certificate. In 1996, he began working as an instructor with Universidad del Este in Carolina. By that time, it was still not Universidad del Este, pero era
Colegio Universitario.
Universitario del
Oh
Este.
my God.
I did that in 95, he did in 96, okay. And then he continuously has worked hard to achieve his goals. So recently, he finished his doctoral degree in philosophy and education with a specialization in instructional design for online learning from Capella University. And he graduated 2013 in the summer. Recently, Daniel published his first article in a peer-reviewed journal titled Journal of the American Deafness and Rehabilitation Association, and all the las siglas, it's JADARA, and all the information regarding that. In addition to his, he still has another pending article to be published very soon in the Florida Foreign Language Journal, which is an annual peer publication serving classroom instructors, researchers, language education majors, and administrators concerning with the teaching of foreign and second language at all levels of instruction. With his service career and his educational background, Dr. Mercado has over 30 years as an educator. I'm very happy to present to you the assistant professor, Dr. Mercado, from the School of Social and Human Sciences. Applaud. The man with the camera.
That's a good thing because, okay, he did his study, as you already know, with the visually impaired or legally blind population, but mine has to do with the hard of hearing, deaf and hard of hearing students. So it's similar up to a certain point, and it has very similarities as far as the conditions that we went through our studies. So with that, I want to talk a little bit about emerging technologies moving towards an equal learning opportunity within our institutions nowadays, okay? So, one of the things I want to try to clear is about assistive technology, okay? To show you some of the assistive technology examples, which already Dr. Morales has spoken of. What is adaptive technology? Again, some of the examples of adaptive technology, okay? An adaptive system that goes in par with the adaptive technology and assistive technology. Some of the examples of adaptive systems, a tassel model that I call tassel model that I created. I'd like to think that there's no other model like that. Yeah, I did that. Good thing. Pat myself on the back.
Right.
Okay, assistive adaptive technology and
We support you.
and my research, which I'm going to try to keep it very, very short, okay? Assistive technology, like Dr. Morales said earlier, assistive technology is the technology that is used for disabled people, okay? That disabled people use it to accomplish or perform a function that otherwise would be difficult or impossible, okay? For example, the visual impaired students, they use these screens, right, to enlarge the fonts, right? So that way they can read. In my case, in my study, which has to do with the deaf and hard of hearing personnel, well, included was closed captions, American Sign Language, etc. Right? I'll get that with that later on. Assistive technology may include mobility devices such as walkers, okay, wheelchairs as well. Let's see, as well as hardware, software, and peripherals that can help people with disabilities access to computers or other universities' information, according to the University of Washington. Okay? Assistive technology, like Dr. Morales, and I'm going to refer back to Dr. Morales and going back and forth because, like I said earlier, it's very similar. Okay? It's any item or piece of equipment or product system that it's already acquired commercially, modified, or customized. okay? That's according to the assistive technology law, okay? Then some of the examples, okay, we have the TTY. The TTY is the text telephone, this one here, whereas the, in my particular case, where the deaf student, let's say, makes a telephone call, and the other person on the other end has the telephone, and he or she types in, and that way the deaf person will receive the message. He or she can't read it. Okay, it has like a little monitor screen on the telephone. Okay, so these are some of the examples that assistive technology pertains to deaf or hard of hearing listeners. Okay. Examples of these, okay, people with limited hand function can use a keyboard with large keys or a special mouse to operate a computer. For example, we've had a student here not too long ago, I think his name, no, not Charlie, but
Xavier.
Xavier, the one that was accompanied always with his mother.
Yes, Xavier,
right?
Xavier.
Well, Xavier was similar with this here, but with the exception that he had like a keyboard, like a keyboard, right? So this here is an assistive technology as well, okay? Also, for blind people as well, right? Can use the software that reads the text and the display in the computer-generated voice, and can use software that increases display content, like very well Morales explained, right? Also, we have people who are deaf can use the TTY, which is the text telephone. People who are deaf can read the subtitles, okay? Over here, okay, like I explained earlier, the TTY, and this video here in particular is one that I used, one of many that I used in the course that I created for Blackboard in my research, whereas I included the closed captions for my students, for my deaf and hard of hearing students, okay?
Is that you?
Of course.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's,
and he recorded the classes.
This is my introductory video. I'm explaining or telling the students, hi, I'm Professor Mercado, and this and that and all that, right? But we can see this later on in Blackboard.
Sure.
People with speech impairments can use a device that speaks in loud voice, right? While entering text or using a keyboard, right? For example, they can text according to these little icons and send messages. Okay.
So they're texting too?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes, yes. And this here is at Universidad del Este, at the library, as you guys already know. They already opened up a new facility, right? It has a small classroom, whereas it has El Laboratorio de Tecnología Asistiva, right? Where they have, inside that classroom, like Dr. Morales was saying, here's a screen where it portrays, right, the content into a larger font, whereas the student can see and read.
That's the one you mentioned with the video camera?
I think that's the one that has the video.
That has the video
Right.
camera.
This-
at the top, right?
This
Yeah.
one here in particular, it's called Da Vinci.
Da Vinci.
Yeah, well, Da Vinci is the manufacturer.
Right. And it's what it does, it's a magnifying glass of high performance of CCTV, right, which is what Dr. Morales was talking
CCTV.
about, with high definition video, text to voice, OCR, and a 3-in-1 camera, also with the video camera.
Video camera, yeah.
Okay.
And it's interesting that it can perform on other languages other than English
Yes,
and Spanish.
Yes, it can perform.
Portuguese,
it can
French.
read aloud, and any text printed in Italian, English, Spanish, Portuguese, and French. With the push of a button. Okay. So it might be able to teach me how to speak French, because all I know is oui and French fries.
And French fries is
that
not
one
French.
in particular reads aloud.
Yes,
Yes,
it reads
also.
aloud.
Oh.
So
We
it
need
adds
to go over there.
it adds
We need to go over there.
it adds more than just the
Oh.
writing. It is including also that it reads
I
to
was
the
not
student.
familiarized with that.
Well, that's why I'm saying we need to go over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the talking calculator, which is the one that you mentioned,
Yes,
right?
yes.
With the synthesized voice, it performs basic addition, subtractions, multiplications, etc. Okay. And then we also have the compact electronic video magnifier, that you place the document like you said, and then it magnifies the text, right? Next one. And adaptive technology. Let's talk a little bit about adaptive technology. According to Schut and Zapata, which is one of my favorite authors here through my literature review, they wrote that adaptive technology is a combination of technologies with processes that form an adaptive system. Okay? They're two different things: adaptive technology and adaptive system and assistive technology. Three different things. They might sound familiar, but each has a particular function. Okay? Adaptive technology allows different combinations of technologies with processes that are an adaptive system. Okay? I'll say this again. Adaptive technology allows different combinations of technologies with processes that are an adaptive system. But consequently, it allows the students with disabilities to perform online. Okay? And you're going to see this. I'm going to show you in my model that I created. I'm going to show it to you. Some of the adaptive technology, American Sign Language. In order for me to pursue and finish my research, I had to take 1 year, or I took 1 year of sign language. Why? Because my population dealt with deaf and hard of hearing students, and I had to communicate with them one way or the other. Okay, some of them did read lips, but some of them didn't. So I had to, basic communications, but I did that through my 8-week course, which is what lasted the course. Adaptive technology, for example, is the walker, right? People with disabilities, they use this to walk. Okay, another one. Another example is, again, adaptive technology. We have the big screen that enlarges the books or the text. Okay. Adaptive system. The adaptive system. It says that adaptive technology allows different combinations of technology and processes. Again, the same definition as previously, right? That transform an adaptive system to allow students with disabilities to perform tasks online. Next one. And here's the model. We have 3 of them. We have the assistive technology plus the adaptive technology, which equals the adaptive system. The whole thing becomes an adaptive system. How? For example, over here, we have the assistive technology, tecnología asistiva, right? And what is the technology, assistive technology? Well, in this case, in my particular case, I have the American Sign Language, and I have the face-to-face instruction in the class. Okay? That would be the assistive technology. Now, the adaptive technology was the internet, which I adapted in the class, Blackboard, which was the learning management system that I used to create the course, and the closed captions that I used within those videos. And again, these 2 items put together, we get the adaptive system, which is the combination of these 2. Okay. This is where I got the great idea of creating the TESA model. You look troubled. You? No. Okay. Good.
You better not look troubled.
The example of what you just saw in pi and all that, right? It's all put together in here. Well, it's all comprised of the computer, the internet, the Blackboard learning management system, the American Sign Language, the closed captions, and the face-to-face. Okay. Assistive adaptive technology complements the adaptive technology, which is a system that assists people with disabilities to accommodate the area of special needs. And assistive technology and adaptive offers a way to follow the curriculum, for what Dr. Morales was emphasizing earlier, right? Follow the curriculum for students with and without special needs. The good thing about these assistive technology, ladies and gentlemen, is that it's not only serves the purpose for the person in need, but it can be used also for all general students. For all the students. So all other students will benefit as well from this, even if he or she does not need the assistive technology. Okay?
Yeah, they're
So,
taking
I mean, it's a
advantage.
win-win situation.
Mhm.
Okay?
And you're also providing for those who do need it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, my research study, and this is where it comes to your question as well. Instructional design strategies, the title of it was, or is, instructional design strategies that were used to provide an equal learning opportunity for deaf and hard of hearing learners. Okay? The purpose of this, well, the purpose was to gather information from students that are deaf and hard of hearing, right? To gather their perceptions of a hybrid learning experience and describe recommendations as to how to design better hybrid courses to accommodate their needs. And this is something that Dr. Morales again mentioned. Okay? The literature review, reviewed the protective laws of the deaf and hard of hearing learners, like Dr. Morales mentioned, the ADA, the IDEA, right? Section 504, Section 508. We also have the NCLT as well. Okay. It also reviewed instructional design, and this is where it comes the important part as to the question that you were referring to, as far as having or creating and having in mind learners when we are designing or working on curriculums about these populations. How are we going to integrate this population into the curriculum, into the classroom? How are we going to design the classrooms to accommodate these populations' needs?
Further on, I would also have a question on what are actually hybrid courses.
Sure,
So-
absolutely, not a problem. The methodology used, well, in this study, students were interviewed, a focus group session was conducted. I had a lot of fun with that. Questions from a personal reflection journal and perceptions questionnaire were used. 4 different instruments were used in this one. It was a quantitative and qualitative mixed study.
Mhm.
Okay. This qualitative case study used a triangulation process to learn more about the experience of the deaf and hard of hearing and learning in a hybrid course. Triangulation process because it gave me the opportunity to cross-reference some of the information from this to the next, to the next, and to the next. And that's where things really got interesting.
Especially transcribing interviews.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, he had a lot of
That
fun.
was great.
The qualitative research method allows the use of different types of sources of information, such as interviews, which I had, the questions of a journal, the focus groups, and a questionnaire of perceptions to collect the data, allowing the study to be more accurate and credible. Yes, and credible according to Creswell. I love Creswell. I love Creswell. 2008, I love him. I love him.
Creswell.
Yes, Creswell.
Yeah.
I mean, Creswell.
I get a lot of us have used
Creswell. Yes. The sampling population, as already mentioned, were deaf and hard of hearing students enrolled in higher education institutions. Okay, there were 10 participants in my study. I was fortunate enough to have 10 participants.
10.
Within the system of Ana Jiménez, there were a total of 18. And
Within the system?
Within the system, yes.
Wow.
Within the 3 universities,
Mm-hmm.
there were 18, and I got 10.
Wow,
And I got 10.
good.
7 of the 10 students were part of a focus group meeting used to collect the data through a group interview.
Mhm.
Okay. The conceptual framework that I used was universal design for learning is the educational framework that optimizes the opportunities for all individuals to acquire knowledge, skills, and enthusiasm for learning. The universal design I selected because, like I mentioned earlier, it not only serves the purposes and covers the needs of these populations, but it also can be used by the general population of the student body as well, because they benefit from it as well. Okay? So the universal design gave me the opportunity of doing this. The conclusions of these are the students indicate that they benefited from the instructional design strategies that were used to build the hybrid course for this study. 100% of students enjoyed working with the platform of Blackboard Learning System. Even though at the beginning, and the first 2 weeks, two had problems with their emails and what have not, and therefore they couldn't access because of the username and whatever. But once they got that cleared, everything was pretty good. Okay. Videos with subtitles and sign language interpreter were of great help to students and to the course because the videos provided content accessibility. One of the benefits of these videos were that not all 10 participants were completely deaf, meaning that the student that was completely deaf, well, he or she then decided to read the closed captions. Okay? Now, that was hard of hearing, had the choice of listening to the professor, watching the sign language interpreter, or to read the closed caption. So it has 3 different options for the students to select from. And this is what made the course very particular, because it was very visual. That was one of the other comments that some of the students made, that the course was very visual. And for this type of population, we need to have courses like this. Not just in English 115, which was the course that I selected for this research, right? But for all of them, okay? And the references. Dun, dun. Okay. Hybrid course, going back to the question to hybrid course. Okay, what is hybrid course? Okay, a hybrid course is a course which is, in my particular case, I used it as a 50% online and 50% in the classroom, which means that instead of sitting in the classroom 100% all the time, the 8 weeks, because it was a part-of-term course, it was only 8 weeks. So what we did was, since we were supposed to meet twice a week in the classroom, so I just divided it, 50% in the classroom. Let's say on Tuesdays we met in the classroom, and then on Thursdays they did their tasks and assignments and discussion forums and quizzes and exercises on Thursdays.
Okay.
And then on the following Tuesday we would gather up again, and then we would not only discuss the assignments and tasks and what would have left, but any difficulties that they might have had while doing the exercises and assignments and what have not. In the meantime, what happened between Tuesday to the next Tuesday? Because we didn't meet until then, right? Which is a whole week. I didn't see them. So we communicated through email. Some of them even text me. But a lot of communications through email. Plus, they also communicated among themselves. They found themselves that they were more committed as far as the responsibility is concerned in the hybrid course than compared to a traditional course, because it was on them. I was not there all the time to say, hey, remember, you have to do this, you have the assignment, you have the assignment. No, they have a due date, and they had to respond to that due date for them to turn in their assignment. They had options as far as how they wanted to turn in their assignment. They could either send it through email, or save it on a USB, or give it to me on the next class, whichever way they preferred. So there was always an option for them.
So your recommendation would be that students, what would be that recommendation?
Is, according to the students, after the course was done, they said, Professor, is the next course, English 116,
okay, that's what I want to hear.
going to be in this format also? I said, I'm sorry, no, because this was, as they were already explained, right, this was not only it's going to be a credit, there are 3 credits for it and a grade, but this was a special format done for them for 1 semester only, for this time. But they wrote letters. I don't know who they gave them to. They didn't give them to me. But they wrote letters saying that they needed more courses like this. Okay? And going back again to Dr. Morales, where you asked the previous question, institutions have to comply, you already know this, institutions have to comply with the federal laws. Federal laws as ADA 504 and 508, it's a mandate. It's not like it's an option. No, it's mandatory. We have to comply with these laws. We have to develop our faculty. We have to give them the sensibility, or not to give them, but to make them aware of how sensible or how they should act with this population.
And probably give them strategies on how to work
Maybe
with
they
them.
want to.
Absolutely.
But the strategies.
Absolutely. One suggestion is for the institution to have a small staff dedicated to place course material in different formats according to the different needs of the different students with disabilities. Whether it's blindness, deafness, wheelchairs, hands that can't work with, okay? With all these possible disabled students that we are getting more and more every year, we are receiving these students more and more every year, right? There has to be a fellow partnership between the offices of
That support.
the assistive technology staff office, which does not exist, I might add, with the calidad de vida and servicios complementarios de estudiantes. That
And
has to
even
be linked.
retention, and even retention.
And even retention.
And even retention. So it has to be the chain reaction
Yes.
of each of these components.
And for this, I've been talking with Mayra Ferran about a possible proposal to write about an educational center for disabled students that I would love to write. And with that, I'm going to include Dr. Morales also. He didn't know it back then, but
He knows it now.
he knows it officially, because him and I, we've been talking about
And
it.
so
on and
do
off.
us.
But yes, but
And-
it is official. If nothing else, I'll do nothing else in this university. The least I want to do is, before I die or leave or whatever, is that, to do a building, to build a building with and for the disabled students. And it's not un centro de estudiante. I want to make that clear. It's not for them
No,
to
it's
go
not
and
to
play.
go out
Yeah,
and
to
play.
go play cards
They
or
can go and
anything.
chill out in the
No,
hallways.
no.
Este es un
It's a
centro de
learning
educación
center.
para,
Academic
académico
learning
para estudiantes discapacitados.
Wow, that would be
Y yo
fantastic.
le añadiría, porque fíjate, a través de mi estudio también me di cuenta de que estos estudiantes tenían unas deficiencias, entraban a la universidad, o sea, entraban ya a la universidad con unas deficiencias. Y yo creo que pero el hecho de ellos no
Tener
estar
una
expuestos
situación diferente.
a unas destrezas por su ceguera,
Exacto.
ellos estaban en necesidad de recibir unos cursos, por así decirlo, ay, se me fue la palabra.
Nivelatorio.
Nivelatorio.
No es.
We don't want to use remedial anymore.
Bueno, eran remediativos, sí, donde se le pudiera
Sí, pero era
reforzar.
eso.
Ahora
sí.
se relatorio.
Se le
Ridículo.
pudieran reforzar esas destrezas y se le pudieran cubrir esas lagunas, que de la misma forma se puede integrar eso dentro de ese centro, como yo
Claro.
recibir un tipo de apoyo
Claro que sí.
Yo
hacia los cursos.
Mira, yo diría más, perdonando, sí, hemos dicho a través de los años la necesidad que hay que los estudiantes aprendan a redactar y tengan un centro donde puedan entrar sin necesidad de estar matriculados en un curso, pero sí con unos servicios que pudieran ayudarlos a desarrollar, no, pero estoy retratándolo ahí, a desarrollar esas destrezas que tienen en deficiencia, que en muchas ocasiones no es culpa de ellos.
Claro.
Porque en el caso particular de la población a la que yo atendía, o sea, ellos